So I am thrilled to be doing this panel with Trina, Jill, and Jennifer today. And I first want to start off by having you all introduce your own business and also telling us, which I also think is like a fun piece to get to know you, tell us the last thing you bought online, but it cannot be your own company or anyone else on the panel.
Great. I'll start. Trina Spear. I'm the co-founder and co-CEO of FIGS. FIGS is a medical apparel company. We are disrupting $10 billion in the US industry. It's been around for 100 years, no change, no innovation, and really bringing a brand to an unbranded space and a community, and building a community around a profession, which had never been done. Last thing I bought online, I bought Hunter rain boots the other day. It's been raining a lot, and I thought like at some point it would let up, but it didn't. So.
Hello, my name is Jill Layfield. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Tamara Mellon brand. We're a direct-to-consumer women's luxury footwear brand. My co-founder is actually Tamara Mellon. She previously founded a brand called Jimmy Choo 25 years ago in the luxury footwear space. So we're sort of turning it upside down and trying to disrupt the industry that she helped create 25 years ago. The last thing that I bought online was a big stack of books for my 11-year-old daughter because she's found her love of reading, and I need to show her that I know the next great book for her to read.
Great.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Yen. I'm a former TV villainess, and I used to be on Power Rangers, which led me to create my first beauty company, Purlisse, which is inspired by my grandmother's Asian beauty secrets. And my second company is YENSA Beauty. It's a superfood cosmetic, and I was inspired after giving birth to my daughter, and I was really depleted, and my skin was once again troubled, and my mother was feeding me these 8 black superfoods, such as black tea, black rice, black seaweed, and it really sparked an idea for me to create a complexion infused product with superfood science, and that is what led me to start my second company.
So authenticity in a brand is not just important, it's imperative. So I'd love it for you to all tell us a little bit about why and how you started the brand, but more importantly, why and how it was authentic and true to you and your team.
Sure. So we like to say at FIGS that our industry, our market wasn't underserved. It wasn't actually served at all. Medical professionals have been wearing scrubs and lab coats and other types of medical apparel to work for years. And, the product was awful. It was ill-fitting, it was baggy, it was uncomfortable. The size was on the back of the neck. I don't know if you guys have seen that, but no matter what size you are, that's really bad. And, it's made out of cotton, so absorbs liquid, bacteria, infection. And it was just, a really horrible product. And then on top of that, the experience was awful, where you were, you basically had to go out to a medical supply store in a strip mall where there's a rack of black and a rack of navy and a rack of white, and there's wheelchairs and canes and knee braces in the same place that you're buying your scrubs. And we launched in 2013, so this is just crazy to us. We're like, what are people having to do? 90% of medical professionals buy their own uniforms. Why are they subjected to this horrible, horrible experience? And so it just seemed bizarre. And so what we did was, really on the product side, we now create the highest quality medical apparel in the world with a focus on fit and functionality and comfort and antimicrobial fabric that repels bacteria and infection so you can go to work and do your job well. We're focused on changing the way that people look, challenging the way they feel, and elevating the way they perform in their job with the ultimate mission of serving those who serve others. We are a mission-driven, purpose-led company, and it's all about our community and helping them perform in their jobs. And so authenticity, to your question, is everything, right? If you're not waking up every day with a true north and serving those who serve others is ours, then what are you doing? Our customers are saving lives, literally, and helping patients and curing diseases. And what company is alongside them as they go to work and do that work? And that's FIGS. So that's really important. It's it's important to me as a human being, as a patient at times. All of us have been patients, and so it's really about having that mission that drives you and your team every single day.
That's great. Jennifer, why don't you go next? We'll mix up the order.
Okay. Well, I'll talk about being authentic with my second brand, which is YENSA Beauty. My last name Yen means color and face in Chinese. So YENSA literally means color and face in Chinese. And right off the bat, because I made so many mistakes with my first company, I knew that we had to stand for something. And what that was, just given my experience and struggles for the past 10 years, like I wanted YENSA to stand for women's leadership. So on International Women's Day, which is in 2 days, and we are launching 8 shades of our CC cream in partnership with Dress for Success. It's a nonprofit organization that promotes women's independence. And so we created a video, and we got influencers, we have some celebrities on there just asking for your hour, her power, for you to donate an hour of your salary to help another woman. So our mission is to help lead women into a new era and to help women who are experiencing challenges, and that's the reason why we partner with Dress for Success on International Women's Day.
That's great. And Jill?
When I met Tamara, and we sort of started to talk about the next generation of luxury brands and how we would build the business, the easy part was sort of, how do we get sort of rid of the 6x markup that exists on a pair of luxury footwear and sort of disintermediate retail and have the best quality but at a better price? How do we not be sort of beholden to this ridiculous fashion calendar where you design a couple big collections, a year, 12 months before the customer sees the product, and you sort of drop these big collections? So, much faster to market, more responsive supply chain, and just overall sort of speed advantage with weekly drops. And then we said, what's wrong with the branding? And the first part of the equation in terms of disrupting the luxury space was sort of easy to sort of think through. The brand piece took a little bit more work. We looked at the way brands were created in the luxury space 20 years ago, and we realized they were opaque, they were monologues to themselves, and the way they created community with their consumers was rooted in pride of association being about shared status. And yet, the consumer has moved on, and I think the modern female consumer wants a brand that's not opaque, that's transparent, wants to be part of a conversation and not be a monologue, and wants to have pride of association through shared values. And so, Tamara and I, we're sitting there, we're sort of talking about what that means, and for her that meant, how do we help women own their voice? And in the last 2 years, that's really become, how do we create content and community around knowing your worth, which is rooted in pay equity, and the reality that it's not right that women are paid 20% less than men sometimes to do the same job. And then secondly, how do we sort of empower women to own their health? Because we're so busy and we're running around like crazy taking care of everyone else. When are we stopping to take care of ourselves? And so, I think it's been powerful because, hope you can see, like I believe in that a lot, as does Tamara. And I think, it gets a little old to talk about another pair of beautiful shoes. It's important, clearly, for our business, but there's a real content and community advantage when you talk about values with your brand and you weave that into the product marketing. We call it purpose-driven product marketing, and it's made sort of this company sort of very valuable for us in terms of it feeds our passion and it feeds our souls.
And Jill, talking of beautiful products, those are the Tamara Mellon boots, aren't they? Awesome.
90 millimeter is the perfect heel size. 2 years of figuring this out. I came from the outdoor industry, so I was not a heels person, and so I can tell you this is really comfortable despite it being high. So, little tip.
Well, they look awesome.
Thank you.
So at Lightspeed, we get excited about brands that are built around the 3 C's. So for us, that's content, community, and commerce. So I'd love it if you could tell us a little bit about 1, 2, or maybe all 3 of the C's that really play into your brand.
Sure. So at Figs, we're a direct-to-consumer, digitally native, vertically integrated. How many more things, right? It's like 2019. You have to have all these things: content-driven, community-based. What was the other C?
Commerce.
Commerce.
Oh yeah, and we sell stuff, and that should always be last, by the way, per Jill's point. So it really is important in this new world. We're living in a digital world, right? And you have to have really deep relationships with your customers, your community. And if you don't, you're going to die, literally, in the next few years. And so it's having direct relationships with your suppliers, being able to control the product, and then being able to understand your consumer at like a molecular level, like what do they like, what don't they like, who are they, what do they do outside of work, where do they work, where do they go shop, do they go to Trader Joe's or do they go to Whole Foods? Like all of this is really, really important in the new era that we live in, and it drives your understanding of the consumer so you can continually make incredible products, continually improve your products, and deliver on what they need before they even know they need it. So that's the new world, right? You're delivering product to people, some of which meets their needs, and most of the time gives them something that they didn't even know they wanted because you understand them better than they understand themselves. And how do you do that? You do that with data. You do that with really listening and getting customer feedback and building a community around your product and your company. Content is important, but I would say for us, the content piece is a little bit, we're not preaching to people about what healthcare, what's happening in healthcare, right? That's not our role. Our role is to support them in what they believe and be there to, help them along their path through their journey of their career. So we're more around, we just did a huge retreat with Lululemon last year where we took 50 medical professionals to Calamigos Ranch in Malibu, where we all got together and gave them this space to do yoga and self-care and to give back to themselves so they could go out and serve everybody else. So really understanding what your community needs, not just, I'm going to put a blog up or I'm going to come out with a newsletter that, it's not content for the sake of content. It's content around what does your community want and what do they need. And then the commerce piece is the last piece where it's like, if you're doing all those things right, if you understand your community, if you're doing what they need, if you're doing the things that they need and want at the times that they need and want them, right? That's the other big piece, right? Cadence and when do you need when you need to replenish your uniform and we're going to deliver it to it when you need it. Then commerce kind of is this thing that happens as a result of all the work that you do in terms of your community and brand and aligning your product with your marketing, with your customer experience, and all of it kind of flowing together.
Jill?
Okay, so I sort of might have answered this a little bit with
Yeah.
the last question, but what we've learned in the last couple years is when we ask our customer about how she describes herself, interestingly enough, like almost 70% of the time she says she's a corporate executive. And it's very funny because we're like, really? 70%? And I think it's really about sort of her attitude is that, her career is important to her and she wants to, reach her fullest potential or has reached her full potential. And then she sort of describes herself as, wealthy and healthy. And so, we've sort of gotten behind that in terms of content. And when we think about the wealthy part, it's, again, what I said earlier, it's about knowing your worth. And, sort of if you double click on that, it's about pay equity maybe and some other things. And then on health, it's about, taking care of your health. And so we've been fortunate because we didn't want content to just be, look at these pretty shoes I got. And, that be our sort of content strategy or social strategy. Going back to the point of build community through values and not just maybe commerce and transactions. So, as we think about our content strategy, it's all around these moments in the year where we develop content and we develop, merchandise and sort of community and offline events around, knowing your worth and owning your health. And, our biggest moment is around Equal Pay Day, which is coming up, which is the point in the year at which women start making the same amount as men to do the same job. It's like April 2nd. It's not great. But anyways, I think Tamara said by the time the pay gap's closed, she'll be 95. So we're trying to do our part to shorten that gap. But that sort of content strategy, we believe, is the most authentic way to build community. So it's like values, content, community, and that absolutely will drive commerce. First transaction, and then your repeat business, which is ultimately what matters.
Yeah.
Well, you guys answered a lot. But so for us, I think about 3 key points when we build our content. I mean, back to where you're saying, for me, it is, and my team, it is the way we stand out. It's the way we control our messaging and what we stand for. So there's 3 points for YENSA Beauty. One is women's leadership and motivation. It is the quality of the product, and then the superfood effect, like the superfood glow, the superfood science, and all of the benefits of superfoods. And so when we build out our content, particularly Instagram, we're always focused on those 3 key points. And for community, we have a hybrid. We have a hybrid of beauty influencers, beauty editors. We have certain celebrities, and most important, our fans and our customers. Because without them, we have direct contact with them. We host events, and we invite them. When we do a product launch, we launch it directly to our community. We don't go to beauty editors. We actually have a wide range of who we launch to because they help us spread the word. If they love the product, they're posting about it, they're telling their friends about it, and ultimately that leads to commerce. It is a third piece. You have to do so much buildup of what your brand means before it even translates to a sale.
So Facebook, over the last few years, has certainly been a great way to be able to grow a brand. But sometimes we say that when you live by the sword, you die by the sword. With this in mind, so many brands are now thinking about ways that they can diversify away from Facebook and really reduce the dependency on Facebook. Yeah. So I'd love it if you could tell us a little bit about what other marketing channels have been working for you and why. And let's start with Jill.
Oh, fully expecting to start with you. So, I mean, I think the most surprising channel for us in the last year has been print. And for somebody that's building a digitally native brand and sort of built her career on online marketing, it's been a bit of a surprise. But we say our language of love is our imagery, and we spend money on producing beautiful imagery. And so I think it's for us, it's worked. Direct mail postcards and our sort of this lookbook concept. It's been a really cost-efficient channel for us in terms of reaching her offline.
Mm-hmm. We're not particularly dependent on Facebook because when we started getting into it, Facebook was just too expensive for us. So instead, we actually partner with an online subscription company called Ipsy, which they're really great. We send out over 3 million samples a year, and they create content, and they have a large community, so that helps bring awareness to our product launches. They're really data-driven. That really helps us even help us with our product creation process. So we partner with more of a large online community versus depending on Facebook, and we actually focus more on Instagram. And just direct outreach to our influencers. That's been way more impactful for both of our brands.
Trina?
Yeah, for us, I mean, Facebook is an evil that you just got to learn to partner with. So we have a really great relationship with Facebook. Facebook's amazing. I'm at Facebook every month. So, it's there. It's huge. There are billions of people on Facebook. This is not a secret. So if, make the most of it. Understand their algorithms. Understand how they work. Understand how you can get to your people on there. So we've built an amazing community on Facebook and Instagram. Instagram is owned by Facebook. And so that is an incredible thing. But on top of that, you have to be at other places. We do mailers, we do catalogs, we have offline events, we have a speaker series, we have dinner events with our ambassadors. It has to be holistic, right? So if you're just doing Facebook ads all day long, you're doing it wrong. But if you're ignoring Facebook, you're also doing it wrong. And so it's, you need it. It's a part of the business, and learn how to partner the right way and to your advantage. And then I think, it is a holistic thing. I would say find the channels that are really cost effective. There's a number of channels where our cost of acquisition is 0. And that's an amazing thing. So find those places through ambassador relationships. We kind of created the medical influencer. It didn't exist. So our cost is really low, right? We created it. Find the channels that you're actually creating a market for it, and you'll win at it because you're the leader, and you won't have much competition. You'll have followers, but you'll always be the leader. And when you're the leader at something, the cost is cheaper. We were the first company to go online direct to the medical professional. So Facebook was really cheap for us at the beginning. It's getting more expensive. But once again, when you create your own kind of world that you want to live in, your CACs go down and your LTVs go up.
That's exactly what you want. So experiments are something that we always encourage our companies to put a limited budget towards. We often see that the best new growth channels come from testing, and testing some more. So give us an example of something that maybe started off as an experiment, worked so well that you then integrated it to be a core part of the business. And Jennifer, we'll start with you.
Okay. So 2 summers ago, I decided I wanted to create a watermelon product for Purlisse because I was in Malibu and I saw the beautiful sunset and I was drinking watermelon juice and I thought, wow, I want to create a watermelon product and I want to launch it on National Watermelon Day, which is August 3rd. And so that was set in motion, and we did it last August 3rd, and we had a watermelon party where we invited editors and influencers, and everything was watermelon themed, and we started winning like trend awards for this one product. We had one product, and then it did really well, but also at the same time, I didn't realize it was an ingredient that was trending in the skincare and beauty industry, and so thankfully, that worked out. And so we're like, okay, well, let's launch some more watermelon products. So we're going to have an entire watermelon range this summer for Purlisse, and we're going to have another watermelon party in August.
And everyone here is invited,
Yeah,
right?
so it was one product,
Right.
and it worked. And that was a test. And so, yeah, and we also launched it with Ipsy, and they gave us a lot of great feedback that customers loved it. So that's a small test. It turned out to be great, so we're expanding.
That's brilliant. Jill?
I think recently we stumbled onto something to the point of like just try to go somewhere that other people aren't and test into it. We started wrapping 18-wheelers, delivery trucks in Manhattan. I think you've seen a picture of one of them. And it says it's a really great image, and it says, driver does not carry shoes, just cash. And so, it's sort of like, I was like, oh, we got the message right, though. I was very thankful to the person in the business that came up with that line. And like I said, we invest a lot of great imagery. So we sort of leverage that. And look, nobody, particularly in luxury footwear, is wrapping 18-wheelers in Manhattan. So we've seen a really nice lift in traffic in that market. And, yes, we'll take the trucks to other, kind of sort of high density markets, but I think it's more about the spirit, to your point, and that is, where are people not? Should we wrap a plane? Extensions of what you've done, maybe, but more it's just the thinking of like, where is she every day? What's she doing? And how do we get in front of her in a way that's a lot more cost effective than pumping all your money into paid social advertising?
Yeah. And Trina?
Yeah, I think, the beauty of being a digitally native brand is that you're able to test and then invest, right? That's, you're able, for us, right? So we have a core scrubs business. It's actually 80% of our sales are 20 styles. And so people come back over and over and over again for the same uniforms. And then this 20% of our sales is what we call injections. And these are launches that we do twice a week, right? And so we buy less into our injections, and that's really what drives people back. And it's really exciting, and they don't look like scrubs. None of our stuff looks like scrubs, right? We reinvented that word. But that's really what it's about. So on the product side, always kind of doing smaller buys on things that you're maybe not so sure about, taking less risk. And then once you see that it performs, then investing in it, right? And we've seen how a lot of our injections have kind of knocked out some of our core products, right? So then they become core. And so you have this great kind of virtuous cycle between your core business, which does well, and it's all year round, and kind of your injection business. And we're a workwear company, we're a uniform company. This doesn't make sense for all companies, but it's a great way to kind of test new products, see how they do, and then invest deeper into it. And then on the marketing and brand front, like Jill and Jennifer were saying, there's so many things that you can do now and take so many risks. And it's riskier to not take risks than to take risks now, right? So if that's ingrained into your company culture, it doesn't feel scary, and experimentation is everywhere. You're experimenting on your homepage, you're A/B testing emails, you're seeing if this truck worked, and you didn't spend that much, right? You buy 10 grand, whatever, 20 grand. It's like you're able to do these things and see if they work, and when they do, you're like, oh wow, now I can kind of put more behind it, and that's really exciting.
One of my mentors taught me sort of a phrase that I say incessantly, and now, at Tamara Mellon, everybody's sick of hearing it, but you said essentially earlier what it is, and that is, the safe way is the risky way, and the risky way is the safe way. And so, culturally, I think you have to take risks and show everybody that's actually much safer, particularly for an early stage startup. You don't want to play it safe. And then if you sort of, find a few wins, then sort of you build that momentum, and, the company sort of thrives off of not reckless risk-taking, but, sort of smart risk-taking.
So the last question that I have for you all is something that I spend a great deal of time thinking about. So we get excited when we see early leading indicators of brands being built. And some of these leading indicators can include areas such as high organic, given the fact that word of mouth is just so important, attractive NPS, maybe it's strong social media followings and also engagement, and also good referrals and repeat rates. So just 1 minute each on the one early leading indicator that you saw in your brand that got you really excited.
Sure. Okay, so for YENSA Beauty, we launched October 8th in 2018 with one product, which is our tone-up primer. And we launched it with Ipsy. And, I didn't know how it was going to do. And within 15 days, we got over 120,000 really 5-star reviews. And then when we looked on our website, we got over 16% conversion rate.
Wow.
Yes.
That's good.
And then our abandoned cart rate was really low. So I'm like, okay, great. We have an awesome product. Because, you think, because oftentimes you think you're going to create a product, and you need to let the customers speak for you. Like some products I thought would do great, they don't. And some I'm like, okay, I don't know. And they end up doing great. So.
Yeah, 16% conversion rate is exceptional.
Yeah,
that's for sure. Jill?
So for us, I think it would be repeat rate. I mean, as we're investing in growth and sort of, building awareness and acquiring customers, one of the things we want to sort of believe is that, soon we could turn off performance marketing spend, and we could call it be EBITDA break even on our repeat business, and so I think, it's a marker of sort of health of the core business, and sort of the fact that you're making the right investment in acquiring the right type of customer. So we've, I think our second year of business last year, 36% of our revenue came from repeat customers, which feels good.
That's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Finally, Trina.
Yeah, Miss Jill kind of hit it. So we're a uniform company. So people are wearing their uniform every day to work, and return customer rate and how many people are coming back to you and how often they're coming back to you is what we look at every day. And we're building a company based on retention value, where you can turn off at any point your marketing spend, and people just come back over and over. I mean, we're a product first company too, so the product speaks for itself. So you try figs, you're with us for your career. So that's really what we're doing. And, yes, you have to go out and acquire new people to learn about your company, learn about your brand, and learn about what you do. But the best companies are built on retention value, and that you have people for their careers or for their lifetime. And that's the most important metric in our business.
Yeah, I'd agree. So hopefully we've left you all with some nuggets of what 3 true brands really look like, and what we at Lightspeed look for in a real brand. And thank you all for listening. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.